On this week's episode of the Program Guyz podcast, the Super Bowl is set. We recap the wins for the Bengals and Rams in the AFC and NFC championship. We also take a look at our playoff pick'em standings and decide a final tiebreaker. We have our first ever interview with Luke Hetrick from Spectrum Sports 360 based in Orlando, Florida. The sports anchor talks about his time covering Dillon, Gabriel, and Jeff Lebby at UCF and what they bring to Norman. Plus, we recap National Signing Day for the Sooners and the 8th ranked 2022 class in the nation. Ryan's must-watch of the week is the movie What If, and Pat gives us a hot take that will for sure heat up the Winter Olympics. All right, let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 4 of the Program Guyz podcast. Today is Thursday, February 3rd, and my guys, the Program Guyz, are here with me as always. Ryan Tyson, Patrick Hertzberger, and Mark Hall. Shout out to Matt Gann. Matt Gann enjoying some Thunder and Dallas Mavs basketball right now. Jealous of Matt. Hope he's enjoying that game. Guess we'll find out if he saw a Thunder win. He's a big Thunder fan. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Program Guyz with a Z. Follow us on Instagram, Program Guyz with a Z, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Program Guyz Podcast. That's also with a Z. Find us all on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Guys, how we doing? It's a great day to be an Oklahoma Sooner. Let me tell you right now.
Feels like the 8th best Sooner to be in the country.
Exactly. We're going to get to it was National Signing Day yesterday. We're going to recap everything that the Sooners got in their 2022 class. And I feel really good about it. We'll talk about it later, but your first feelings after hearing today. They were 9th, now they're 8th. How you feeling?
I feel wonderful. I just like pulling up Rivals and seeing the 8th spot right there, like this evening. Just coming from that, we lost our head coach, our entire defensive staff, multiple recruits, our star quarterback 2 days ago. And this team was able to come in and in 2 months put together what did we say earlier? The second best recruiting class that we've had in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
That's just some incredible work by Brent Venables. And the more and more I hear him talk, the more I see what he's doing on the recruiting trail. I love that man. So I'm super excited about 2022.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our NFL recap. We will not be making our Super Bowl picks this week, but stay tuned. We are going to give you our standings in the playoff pick'em, and we got some tight races. Let's go ahead and get started. Bengals beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, 27-24 in overtime. The Bengals, your Cincinnati Bengals, are going to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1988. They come back from 18 points down. What do you take away from that game? Mark, we'll start with you.
It felt really more like a failure on the Chiefs' part than anything else to me. The Bengals made plays in the second half, and Samaje Perine single-handedly made a play in the first half for them. But in a lot of ways, you have a Patrick Mahomes helmed offense and you can't score points in the second half. That's on you.
I completely agree. Pat, did you feel like the Chiefs took their foot off the gas in the second half?
Yes, but also I feel like that discredits the Bengals because they made adjustments, made the right adjustments at halftime, obviously, and they came out to win the game. They were down 21-10 at half, right? So I feel like it's not crazy to say that they would come back and win after a 21-10 deficit. But I mean, obviously 21-3, or when it was 21-3, I didn't think they'd have a chance anymore.
Ryan, do you feel like the Bengals are kind of like a team of destiny at this point? Because I kind of do. I get the feeling that Joe Burrow doesn't want to say if not us, then who, but it legit is like, if not them, then who? Because they're the hottest team in the league.
Yeah, Mason, I think you could say they are a team of destiny, but they're also a team of going against every bet I make, every single one. Every time I bet against them, I lose. So yeah, I mean, I'm going in to the Super Bowl. We're not making our picks yet, but I shouldn't make the mistake a third time.
Look, it's got to be addressed. What the hell were they doing at the end of the first half at the 1 yard line? The Chiefs. You have a chance to go up 28-3 or 24-3, and you run inexplicably some sort of swing pass to Tyreek Hill with no timeouts behind the line of scrimmage. A lot of those times you hear like, oh, well, if it worked out, Andy Reid's a genius. I don't think I would have felt that way. Even if Tyreek Hill would have scored, I would have been like, that's a dumb play call that had a lot more to lose than it had to gain. And that's when the momentum completely shifted. And that's when the Bengals started taking over.
Yeah. I heard it was Patrick Mahomes' call.
That's what I was going to say is Andy Reid was sending the field goal unit on and Mahomes waved him off. And I think he called that play, which goes to the real issue with the Chiefs as far as crossing the finish line, I think, is they've given him too much freedom. He's not Peyton Manning at the line of scrimmage. He's more talented than anyone we've ever seen, but they've given him freedom like he knows every single facet of the field, and he doesn't. He just has an arm that can get it there.
Ryan, anything?
Yeah, no, I just think it was just bad play calling in general. You're on the 1 yard line and you make that kind of call and it changed everything. And people will, I think going into halftime, all of us were like, oh, damn, that would have been nice. That would have been nice to have, especially the people who bet the Chiefs -7. But that would have been nice to have. And then you come out in the second half and everything changes. You're just like, what could have been?
I texted you guys when they got stopped at the end of the first half. I go, that's going to screw me. Yeah, that's going to screw me. And it did. And it really did. All right, moving on to the next game we had. The Rams are moving on out of the NFC side of the bracket. They beat the 49ers 20-17 at home. They outscored the 49ers 13-0 in the fourth quarter. Rams back in the Super Bowl for the first time since 2019. I'll open it up with this. Did the Rams win or did the 49ers lose? Mark kind of touched on that at the last game, but what'd you guys see?
This is kind of hard because, like, in my opinion,
I think the 49ers lost.
The Niners lost this game.
Yeah.
Just that missed interception, down the middle, which one I'm talking about. I don't remember the guy.
Ramsey had one too, though. Ramsey should have had one too.
That's true. But like that missed one that was right in his hands. I was like, oh no, like this is going to happen. Like this is absolutely going to happen. And 50% of this building is going to be very excited because
Mark, I'm really sorry about this, but Shanahan is addicted to blowing leads.
Oh, he is, man.
He is addicted to it. Like
now it's
junkie.
cool. I don't mind.
He needs to go to rehab for it.
I like it now.
So bad. Yeah, you like it now. Yeah. But dude, I don't know what that was. It's so weird how teams take their foot off the gas. It's just, I don't understand it. In the NFL, more than any other place I've ever seen it. If you have a chance to win by 40, win by 40. NFL teams are too good. Like, obviously the 49ers, I'm more talking about the Chiefs right now, but the 49ers had a fourth quarter lead and they blew it. It's just, it's weird to me.
Mm-hmm. We call that the Lincoln Riley special in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So
I was about to say, we've seen it in Norman the last 5 or 6 years.
Maybe that's why Lincoln was such a good candidate for NFL jobs. Teams were like, this guy knows how to take his foot off the gas.
We really just want to increase fourth quarter scoring. How can we pull that off?
And if we're being honest, we've seen both these California teams blow leads in the past 2 weeks. I mean, not the Rams eventually won that game against Tampa Bay, but really blew a bad lead there. So like maybe it's a California thing, and maybe that's why Tebow needed to go,
Yeah.
I'm done talking about Lincoln for the rest of this pod, but.
All right. Well, again, we're going to make our Super Bowl picks next week, so stay tuned for that. I will be doing the show from West Monroe, Louisiana next week. So it's going to be a traveling show for me.
Wow.
Starting my bass fishing season. It's going to be electric.
That's so exciting.
Oh, cannot wait for the
tune
update.
into MajorLeagueFishing.com for all my content on that. All right, let's go over our standings as we head into the Super Bowl. This is our playoff pick'em standings. At the top, Mark Hall. Nobody's touching him. 10-2, baby. Look, shout out to Mark. He's
super impressive.
He's in
Come and get
fuego.
me.
He's in fuego right now.
He's killing it.
This is where it gets interesting, folks. We have a 3-way tie for second to last at 6-6. It's Ryan, Matt, and Patrick. I was 1-1 last week. That helped me. Can't go 0-2. Couldn't go 0-2. Needed it. So I'm at 5-7. I'm one game behind the rest of the boys. And the spray tan is staring us in the eyes. And let me tell you, it's going to be quite interesting when we get to those Super Bowl picks. How you guys feeling? Mark, Patrick, you have a new friend with you chilling in second to last now with Matt. So you got to feel a little better.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think since Gan's not on the pod, we should just talk about our strategy to get him the spray tan, you know?
Yeah,
that's true.
I think
Can we still do that?
I think Matt gets a 1-game deduction for missing a pod.
I
think that should be a
agree.
rule.
I agree.
Yeah, Matt, if you don't like it, speak up. Oh, he's not here. So you can't.
that sucks, Gan.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. That's tough. But that's where we're at. I have a discussion point that we need to go over. I'm sure the listeners are curious. If you do the math, if I pick correctly and any of those 3 guys picked incorrectly, there is now a tie for last place. So how are we going to decide who's in last place at the end of the Super Bowl? Here's my thought. Score prediction. You predict the final score and you take the difference of your score against the score that you pick. So like the actual score, if the actual score is 34-27, but you pick 31-27, you have a 3-point differential. And if Patrick picked 31-24, Patrick has a 4-point differential. Therefore, I'm closer, so I win.
Yeah, I mean, that's just pick as close in score, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm asking if that makes sense. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
Mark might have a better idea though.
Mark's thinking.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm worried about like, okay, is 27-24. Let's say I predict 27-24, and then the final is 51-0. I got the total right, but I didn't get anything else about that right. If y'all's guesses are all like 13-14, who like, what if we're not close at all? I guess is my real question.
Like when
I
Pat
guess
that's what
predicted
worries me.
the 48 to
So what if
28.
so like what if you had so you have the 2 scores, right? This is great podcasting material, by the way. People are gonna love this.
Yeah.
So you can watch our YouTube channel. My hands might make more sense.
Can the program guys do basic math?
Yeah, exactly. So in Mark's example, say the final score is 51-0, but you picked it to be 34-27. You subtract 34 from 51, get that, and then you subtract 0 from 27 or whatever, and you combine those points.
Yes.
And
the absolute value of your differences.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that the same as just
math,
adding
baby?
Them? Isn't that the same as adding them together and subtracting?
I don't know.
No. It's the difference of the sum.
No, it's not, because you're taking each predicted score by the actual score for that team.
Yeah.
It's not a total difference. It's per team.
Bingo.
This would be a really good time to tell all of the listeners that Mark Hall is a National Merit Scholar.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's right.
I'm trying to do this in my head because I'm like, if you have 34 to like 24 and you have
To be clear,
24
National
to
Merit
14.
Scholarships are given when you're 16 years old, and I'm 27.
Man,
It's just been Patrick's go-to for a long time.
Yeah,
that's
now.
true. Yeah, we were in college.
Yeah,
Patrick was going around talking to people, telling Mark he's a National Merit Scholar.
Yeah.
We were 18. Good stuff. All right.
Okay.
Well, I think
that's fine.
I think we have a solution. I think
we got it.
All right. Let us know on social media if you think we're absolutely bonkers or if you understand. All right. Last thing we got in the NFL, Tom Brady, the GOAT, retires. 7 Super Bowls, holds about pretty much every NFL passing record that there could be. It'd be tough for anyone to break it in my eyes, some of those records that he holds, just for the longevity of his career and how long he played and how many seasons he had where he wasn't injured. Crazy he missed 1 season to like injury after all of that. But Tom Brady terrorized me for the better part of 2 decades. or no, close to 2 decades, not more than 2 decades, but pretty close. And hate to see him go. Love to watch him leave. Anybody else? Anything to add about the GOAT?
I think that Mark.
That was Siri. She picked me up.
She has a lot to say about the GOAT, actually.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I think Mark, you need some space here for your Falcons.
I could have spoken up if I wanted to. I could have said something if I wanted to.
You don't want to jinx anything?
No, I mean he is the greatest of all time in a way that no one in any other sport even is the greatest of all time. Even Jordan didn't have this kind of a career. Glad to see him out. I think the league's going to be in a very fun place with all of the young quarterbacks and fun and exciting offensive things coming into the league from college. And it will be nice to see a new, the crown on top of a new head.
That's fair. Anybody else? Anything to add? All right. Farewell, Tom Brady. That was a good wrap up by the program guys on Tom Brady's long and historic career.
You just covered it so well, Mason.
I mean, dude,
it's he didn't
there's no like
my team.
There's no like argument. Like there's no like it's not a hot topic.
No. I mean, I think there's
he is the greatest, and you can't argue it.
And so, I think there's an interesting conversation to have for us maybe at a later time on, kind of what Mark said is he the greatest of all time, like cross sports? And I think that's an interesting conversation now, because Michael Jordan maybe, but I'm thinking like Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, like a bunch of people
Lewis
who are
Hamilton.
So complete.
Yeah,
Lewis
and
Hamilton,
you can put him
Messi,
up there. Yeah,
like
you can put him up there with all that.
Like you can absolutely put him up there. He's absolutely in that league, but is he the best of the best? I don't know. I think that could be fun to talk about.
I mean, you can't argue his longevity compared to a lot of other athletes. The way that he was so dominant for so long. Like Michael Jordan didn't win anything on the Wizards. Tom Brady is playing the most physical sport and still dominant. When he retired, I was shocked because I was like, he's obviously still got it.
Mm-hmm.
He can obviously still perform at a high level. So
of all the people that Ryan named, the only one that I think you could really even entertain an argument for is Serena Williams. Yeah. And the reason for that is with every one of the people you named, you can argue that if they're even the greatest within their sport, right? Like there is a growing contingency of people that think LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. They're wrong, but there's a growing contingency that feels that way. With Tom Brady, it's eternal. Until we see something like this again, he's number one. And that's just different from all these other dudes, except for Serena Williams.
Yeah. I think, the one I think of a lot is Tiger Woods and how dominant he was during that stretch of golf. And I know golf is not football. I realize that. But like the way that he grasped onto that sport and just basically dominated it in a fashion that like no one has ever seen. That was kind of like lightning in a bottle, very similar to what I see with like Tom Brady. So
yeah,
I think it should be a longer conversation that we have. I think we could have a good time with it. So
I think so too.
And we can.
Maybe.
And I'm pretty sure there's some good German tennis players who are better than Serena. So we'll talk about that at a later date.
Yeah. Patrick, do you have anything to add? Is Tom Brady overrated? Just real quick.
No.
I just wanted Pat to say out loud, listen, guys, Johnny Unitas is the guy. Yeah. Tom Brady's got nothing on.
I do want to go on the record and say, I don't know if Brady's done playing football. I think he could come back out of retirement. I don't think this is the end. It just feels weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think it feels weird too. I just don't. All right, boys, moving on to the Sooner talk. It is National Signing Day, but first, our first ever interview, a guest. It is Luke Hetrick from Spectrum Sports 360 in Orlando, Florida. One of my good friends, one of the best journalists that I know. He covered Dillon, Gabriel, and UCF, as well as Jeff Lebby during their run at UCF. We talked to him about Dillon Gabriel and what he brings to this OU program. Go ahead, take a listen. We now welcome on our first ever guest, Luke Hetrick from Spectrum Sports 360, based in Orlando, Florida. Me and Luke have a long history. We were roommates back when we lived in Macon, Georgia, worked in TV together. Luke stayed on the TV grind. I bailed out, but Luke's doing very well for himself down in Orlando. Luke, thanks for joining us, man.
For the first time on an HD screen, we're catching in Mason first.
Shout out to Macon, Georgia.
Shout out, hey,
WGXA, man.
Thank you for the kind words. Obviously, yeah, we did work together. It was a lot of fun. And Mason is so talented. TV was like, look, we kind of need to clear the way for other people. You got a lot of skills. You know, if you want to do TV, that's great. But, you know, think about how many jobs you'd create if you got out of it. And just a man of the people, you know. That's what he is.
That's right.
Thinks of others.
That's right. Me and Luke have a long history. We're really good friends. So if that's what it comes off as, then that's fact. Luke's extremely talented, very well connected down in Central Florida. Covered that UCF team. Luke, we have you on today because with Jackson Dart officially declaring that he's going to Ole Miss, Dillon Gabriel is going to be the guy for OU. That's not really official until depth charts come out. Right. But you look at the roster now, he's the best guy they got on there. We had you on because we want to talk to you about your experiences covering those UCF teams with Dillon Gabriel. And we'll start with, what do you like most out of Gabriel?
Dillon Gabriel is the best deep ball thrower I've seen in the college level in a long time. That might be a take, but seeing him in person and doing it right from the jump, the kid was special. It's not something that he came into the college game and learned how to do. It was right off the bat in his first 3 college games where he started against FAU, then played Stanford, and then played Pitt. The deep ball accuracy, and it's not just the fact that he completed those passes, Mason. A lot of times, these were go routes, facing a blitz, man in his face. Receiver has maybe a step on the guy. And it's not that they went up and made the play. I mean, they ran under the balls perfectly. The stat that jumped out to me about Dillon Gabriel in that freshman season, the 1 year in Jeff Lebby's system, he had 29 touchdown passes. 19 of them were from 20 yards or more out. And those weren't a lot of catch and runs. Those were Gabriel putting it on the money deep downfield. He was incredible in that regard. I think he got better as his time progressed with 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 seasons at UCF. But from a personality standpoint, he really opened up around his sophomore, junior year. Really a good kid, supremely confident, not arrogant, exactly what you want in a quarterback, that guys know he's going to go out there and he's going to make plays. Very personable. I think it's what Oklahoma is getting is a guy that believes in himself, believes in this system that Jeff Lebby is going to put out in year 1. I'm not going to guarantee any results, but what I will guarantee is they're going to throw the ball and they're going to put up some points.
Let's talk about that freshman year that he had with UCF. Obviously, those are some big numbers: 3,653 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 picks. Like you said, a lot of those over 20 yards in the air. How did you see him grow in that Jeff Lebby system? And what was it that, obviously, I mean, was that the injury year? Was that the injury year with?
That was so Mackenzie Milton got hurt at the end of the 18 season.
Gotcha.
And Gabriel recruited the end of that year, came in 19.
Gotcha. So to be a freshman, you have to have a lot of confidence in him. What do you think that team saw in Gabriel that they were like, look, this is our guy going into the season?
Well, one thing that we have to point out is when Mackenzie Milton got injured, and it was apparent he wasn't going to play for at least a year, probably 2, which it ended up being. They were comfortable at the time going with Darryl Mack, the guy that replaced him in the conference championship game and then a bowl game against LSU out in Arizona. They were comfortable with him. They also had Brandon Wimbush transfer from Notre Dame in that year. He ended up winning the starting job. Darryl Mack, I believe it was the summer, I don't want to say it was right before camp, but it was somewhat time in the summer, had broken his foot. So he was going to be out. So you knew he was off the table. And then it was Dillon Gabriel, who was committed to Army for the longest time, started getting some attention towards the end of his recruiting process from Georgia and USC. UCF wasn't as interested early on, but then when Georgia calls, things change. So he came in and he was kind of thrust into it. He proved right from the go that he was the best quarterback that was available to play. He jumped right in. And I think with that system early on with Jeff Lebby, And it really is as well, Josh Heupel. They want to get the ball out quick. They want to play with pace. They want to go, 8 seconds between every play, between the end of a play and a snap. They're going. And when you start out like that, it's very basic plays. The faster you go, the smaller the playbook. A lot of quick dives, zone reads, quick screens to the outside, go routes. They weren't running a ton of plays. But as the season progressed and Dillon Gabriel got better in that base, and when teams started to key on what they were doing, it was also Dillon Gabriel's maturation, but it was Jeff Lebby's play calling that changed. It became a lot more dynamic, a lot more formations, a lot more wrinkles to that offense. And Dillon Gabriel was able to match it and really mature in that system. One of the stats, you said the 7 interceptions, all of his turnovers came in the 3 losses that season. In the wins, he was flawless. So when he takes care of the ball, that team wins.
Amazing. So he's coming to OU now. He's in Norman. He's ready to play. From your experience, you've seen this guy play. You know what he's capable of. What does he need to improve on most from going from Orlando to coming to Norman? Where can he grow the most as a player?
I would say it's going through his progressions, and it's not so much that's a Dillon Gabriel issue. I think it's more of a product of a system that he was in, where it was, boom, if this is open, you go here. With Jeff Lebby, I think it was they took the skill they had, and it was a lot of what Josh Heupel wanted to do. Again, that tempo, that stacked receiver set outside. Jeff Lebby will go with a lot more multiple shotgun spreads. They'll go 11 personnel. They'll do a lot of different things. What that's going to require then, playing better defenses in the Big 12, he's going to have to go through more progressions. They're going to take away some of these main options. Is he going to be good enough to do that? I think he will. We got a small sample size of it under Gus Malzahn because he played 3 games. He got hurt on the last play of the game against Louisville, but it was very much the offense, still some tempo, but it was a full playbook. And you had to go through your progressions. You had to make your reads. Your number 1 receiver wasn't always there. So I think that, for me, with Dillon Gabriel, he already has the benefit of being in Jeff Lebby's system. He wanted Jeff Lebby to be the coach at UCF. They are comfortable with that and with each other. But now the ante kind of steps up a little bit. Is Dillon Gabriel going to be able to go through those reads, those progressions, make those throws, be comfortable with check down throws? I believe he will, but it's something he hasn't had to do a ton.
The quarterback position is so unique and different because there's so much pressure on one singular guy to raise the level of everybody else's play. But also, to be fair, you have to have guys around you who are playing well at a high level as well. Compare, I know you may not know the ins and outs of the OU roster, but compare the caliber of players that OU recruits to the caliber of players that he had with him at UCF. Will that raise his play, or is it going to kind of be the same?
I think it'll raise his play, but in a lot of ways, before he got there, UCF had Scott Frost, who recruited Central Florida incredibly well and found a lot of talent and a lot of speed. Josh Heupel came in and kind of maintained that. Was not the best recruiter in the state of Florida, but still got talent that fit what they wanted to do, and Dillon Gabriel was able to work with it. And this isn't a shot at the AAC. They recruited at that time, really under Scott Frost, not so much Josh Heupel, like they were a Power 5 school. They got a lot of talent, maybe not 5-star Oklahoma talent, but they were just better. You're talking Gabriel Davis, who obviously we know what he did in the playoffs. Trey Nixon, who's with the Patriots, the late Otis Anderson, Adrian Killens, Greg McCrae. So many weapons on that offense. Jacob Harris, who tore his ACL this year with the Rams. They were able to maximize it. Dillon Gabriel was able to put them in situations where they would succeed. Look, the defense is going to be better in the Big 12. I know it's kind of been, a joke that we always talk about, Big 12 defenses, but it is going to be a step up. The competition is going to be better. And Dillon Gabriel going to an Oklahoma is going to have to make those big time throws. And that's where I go back to that deep ball accuracy. With Jeff Lebby and this quarterback, he's going to want to get the ball out quick. They're going to send him downfield because he's got the arm. It's an elongated release, which I know off camera we've kind of talked about a little bit. How does it look? To me, it's a lot like Tua, where you're kind of seeing as a lefty, maybe it looks unconventional, but their whole body's going into it. But Gabriel can make those reads quickly. The talent that they will have at Oklahoma, I think, is comparable to UCF, obviously better. I mean that for the system.
Yeah.
And I think he will succeed. He's going to have a better offensive line. He's going to have probably a better stable of running backs that takes the pressure off of him. But I do think, as not a game manager, but a guy that knows the ins and outs of this offense, he's going to have a lot of success.
Last thing I got for you, whether it's fair or not, Caleb Williams and Dillon Gabriel are going to be compared about what they did at Oklahoma, whether it's fair or not. Today, we just heard that Caleb Williams is confirmed going to USC. We knew he wasn't coming back to Oklahoma. That situation being compared to Caleb Williams, obviously you're not in a position where you're going to be replaced by him like Spencer Rattler was, but is that something, that kind of pressure, not only being at Oklahoma, but being compared to arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now? Is that kind of pressure that he's going to be able to deal with, or do you think he has the mental makeup?
Well, think about this too, because when he got to UCF, he was high school teammates, really good friends with Mackenzie Milton, who goes down as probably the most important, and you can argue the greatest player in UCF history, a guy that led them to the national championship. Make your jokes.
Yeah.
You can say it. You can do what you want about it.
Yeah.
They have the banner. That's what they want to say.
Yeah.
Gotten into Twitter fights about it. But hey, they had that undefeated season. Mackenzie Milton wins 25 games in a row or 24 games in a row as a starter, whatever it may have been. And then you're getting his best friend that comes in after a horrific injury, and he had to be compared to him. He did everything that he could. That team, the talent, probably dropped off after Mackenzie Milton based on the recruiting and kind of the guys they had. But, Dillon Gabriel flourished. I don't think UCF fans probably appreciated the full scope of what he had based on the way that he did exit. He's going to be compared to Caleb Williams. You're always going to be compared because guess where you're going? At UCF, your great quarterbacks, and it's a surprisingly good list. Dante Culpepper, Blake Bortles, Mackenzie Milton. Had some really good guys come in and out of that program. But it wasn't stacked the way that Oklahoma was, where you're going from Baker, Kyler, Jalen Hurts, Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams, and now Gabriel. That's the kind of pressure that you're going to face. It's a different type of pressure, but I do think he is going to be able to handle it because he's going to have the comfort of being with Jeff Lebby.
Luke Hetrick, one of the most talented, knowledgeable people that I've ever had the privilege of knowing. Luke, tell the people where they can find you. Give your social media plugs.
Well, you can join our group text at Macon Survivors.
That's right.
No, I appreciate the shout out, Mason. And, I do want to say Mason has always been a fantastic friend, incredibly talented in all aspects of media. I'm really proud of what you and your friends are doing. Program Guyz, I've listened to a couple episodes so far. You guys do a fantastic job. As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at LH Sports TV and Spectrum Sports 360. If you are a Spectrum customer, which you're probably not in Oklahoma, but who cares? Do the login. I'll give it to you. I'll give you my own, whatever, 10:30 every single night. If you want it, you can use my HBO Max account because I get it for free for Spectrum. But I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me.
All right, Luke Hetrick, everybody. One more shout out to my man, Luke Hetrick. Huge thank you for him for doing that. He took time out of his busy schedule in between Orlando Magic games to give me his thoughts on Dillon Gabriel. Guys, what'd you take away from what Luke said?
Yeah, I mean, first of all,
I'm just so excited. I was so excited about Dillon Gabriel, but now I'm just even more excited. So I can't wait.
I figured. That's good. I'm glad, Pat. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, I just wanted to first say, appreciate Luke for, doing this for us and just being a super knowledgeable guy. I mean,
one of the smartest sports people I know.
Yeah, just some incredible statistics. He was throwing out names. He was throwing out of UCF. He obviously understands that program very, very well. And so I think it's really cool to have that insight onto not only our future quarterback, but also our future offense and what that's going to look like under Jeff Lebby. So just big shout out to him, man. And I'm with Pat. Everything that Luke kind of talked about on Gabriel being able to throw the long ball really well, but also, he's going to have to learn to read the field better than he has in the past, with defenses that they're playing. And I know he made a joke about the soft Big 12 defenses in there, but I just, OSU last year, Baylor last year. I mean, this league is not soft anymore when it comes on defense. And, we're bringing a lot of defense. We're going to talk about signing day here in a minute, but we're bringing a lot of defense into the OU program this year. And I think he's spot on with that, at least from what I've seen, Gabriel is going to need to learn how to read the field better. And but I'm excited about it. I'm super pumped. And I was listening to the press conference today with Lebby, and he said, like, Gabriel's our guy. Like, Gabriel is our dude moving forward. There'll be no QB competition. First time in like 5 years that hasn't happened. And we've had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, like insanity. They're going with their guy.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Mark, did you have something to add?
Yeah, so Ryan kind of took my thing with the Jeff Lebby comment about no quarterback competition. I was going to drill into that a little bit, but other than that, I just wanted to say shout out to Luke once again. Thank you for spending some time with Mason for the show. Everyone go give Luke a follow on Twitter. He is excellent. His insights are excellent, and your timeline and your own knowledge will be better for it.
That's right. Thank you for that, Mark. I'm sure Luke appreciated it as well. Guys, it was National Signing Day yesterday. The Sooners officially have their 2022 class. #ChampU22 is what they're calling it. Let's go ahead and talk about the guys who signed in this later signing period, just because those early signing day guys have already been in the program. They've already been working out. They're kind of already part of that team. We'll go ahead and we'll get started. The one that I'm most excited about personally as a Tulsa guy is Gentry Williams. He's out of Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a 4-star cornerback. He's 6 foot 170 is what he's listed at on 247. Very excited about Gentry Williams. He was a guy that committed during the Lincoln Riley era. He stuck around once Roy Manning and Lincoln left. Loved the new BV staff. And shout out to Jay Valai for getting it done and keeping him there. Guys, anything else you want to add?
Love the 2 running backs that we're bringing in. The 2 running backs that we're bringing in. That's a spot that I thought we definitely needed an infusion of talent. Marcus Major has shown flashes here and there, but behind Eric Gray, it's a lot of question marks, and it's going to be great to have a couple of more bodies, competing at the position to give Jeff Lebby some options. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Here, I'm going to go through all the guys who signed yesterday, and then we can just kind of go into it. That seems a little more efficient. Jamarian Burt. Am I saying his name right? Does anyone have a better pronunciation?
Sounds all right.
It sounds
works for me.
Okay. Jamarian Burt, 3-star athlete / cornerback out of Ocala. I think it is. I think it's Ocala. I don't know. Florida. I should ask Luke. He would have known. He's 6'1", 175. Good sized athlete out of Florida right there. R. Mason Thomas. He's a 4-star edge rusher out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 6'2", 215. That's a big get. He flipped from Iowa State the day of. That was awesome to see. Cedric Roberts, 3-star defensive lineman out of Pflugerville, Texas. 6'3", 275. That's a big human for an 18-year-old. He might be 17 right now. Who knows? Grayson Halton, 4-star D end out of San Diego, California. He's 6'2", 259. Kevontae Henry flipped from Michigan. He's a 4-star D end out of LA. He's 6'4", 208. Where we stand right now at 8:09 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday night, the University of Oklahoma and Brent Venables have the 8th ranked class in 2022.
Huge. Amazing.
Just clap. Just clap for BV. Just clap for BV.
Guys, I'm fired up. I am fired up.
I love the focus on defense. Like,
so do I.
Me too.
It's electric.
It's just everyone that you just listed there, right? I mean,
pretty
you got
much.
your cornerback in Gentry Williams. You got a cornerback out of Burt, edge, defensive lineman, 2 defensive ends. Like, I love it. I love the focus here.
Anybody else?
Patrick, what you got?
No, I mean, I totally agree. Defense wins championships, and I'm super excited that we're focusing on that aspect.
I'm trying to pull this up real quick. All right, we got 21 total in the class. So 21 total. They're the 8th ranked. We already said all those guys who signed. You go ahead and you throw in. Did we say Javonte Barnes? Did we say him?
No.
Okay,
We didn't say him out loud.
Yeah, Javonte Barnes, 4-star running back. Jaden Gibson, 4-star wide receiver out of Florida. Alton Tarber, defensive tackle out of Deer Beach, Florida. He's a 3-star. You got a 4-star Kobe McKenzie from Lubbock, Texas. That was a big get. Nick Evers, that quarterback from Texas, 6'3", 187. That's a 4-star. Katy, Texas wide receiver Nicholas Anderson is a 3-star. Gentry
Rodney
Williams,
Anderson's brother.
That's huge as well. Another program guy. Cedric Roberts. We said him. Caden Helms, tight end, 4-star tight end. That's a big body at 6'6", 220. That's good to see. Jake Taylor, offensive line out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 6'6", 290. Robert Spears Jennings from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, another 918 guy. He's a defensive back. Jacob Sexton out of Edmond, Oklahoma. I'm seeing Jaden Rowe out of Tulsa, Oklahoma from Union High School. Jaron Kanak is probably the most electric name that they have on there just because he's a dude who doesn't look like he's 18 years old. He looks like a grown man.
Scary.
Guys, all in all, it's just really good to see that this class came together after everything that they had to go through to be here and be in this position as the 8th ranked class. I saw stuff going around on Twitter today about OU is done with everyone who left and Lincoln Riley left, like why OU's in danger of having a slip before they go to the SEC. I don't think that news got to that program or got to those coaches who were recruiting. What do you got?
No, I mean, BV was put in one of the worst situations a coach could possibly be put in, and he finished 8th at the end of the day. That is absurd. I mean, imagine him in a great situation over the next few years where you're just going to have more room to grow.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree with Pat. It's it was pretty special to see it.
Mark, you got it? Yeah, go ahead.
So I have 2 more things. I mentioned the running backs earlier. Very excited about the infusion of talent there. I also like seeing the 2 tight ends come in. A couple of big bodies that can move pretty well. There's a quote from someone about how Schmitty has already put 7 pounds on Caden Helms. And, that got me excited. We've had underdeveloped athletes for 4 or 5 years now, and we're going to see some real physical development out of these guys. And that's cool. One thing that, we've been very, very excited. We've been very, very happy. We only pulled in 2 offensive linemen in this class. They're both tackle prospects, and I wouldn't say that our offensive line was a strength last year. Yeah. We also brought in 2 transfers in the McCade Matower, I think, and Tyler Guyton from Cal and TCU, but I would have liked to see another body or 2 on the offensive line. We've lost guys, and I'd like to see some more there.
It's interesting you mentioned the transfers. Obviously, Dillon Gabriel is going to be the biggest transfer on that list. But I was listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ted Lehman and Gabe Eichert. Great podcast, great insight from them. They had a
couple of real program guys. Exactly.
They had Caleb Kelly on, and Caleb Kelly was talking about his new position with OU as the sole director. And Kelly was talking about how I don't think he meant to, and I don't think he was supposed to say this, but Caleb mentioned how this might be kind of the last recruiting class that Brent Venables has that relies that heavily on the transfer portal. Caleb made a point of saying that they're going to try to develop their guys that they recruit for 3 to 4 years. And that's what they're going to do. And you heard what Brent Venables said today in his press conference, where he said, once you're in the transfer portal, there's a line that you kind of cross in my eyes. So that kind of shows you where his head's at. I think the transfer portal was more of a necessity this year than something that he wanted to do, just because he needed the right bodies in here at this time to make the team competitive in 2022. Mark, you look like you're pondering something.
Well, I just took his quote a little bit differently.
Okay.
I took it more as him saying, hey, if you're a player on my team and you enter the portal, I have to assume you're not coming back. Yes. Not necessarily, hey, you're gone, because we took Theo Weiss back, right? Yeah. So I think that there's a little bit more gray kind of than like the Clemson program that he came from, right? But I think it's spot on to say, we won't be using the transfer portal like this. This is not a Lincoln Riley run program anymore. We're going to get talent in the building, and we're going to keep them here, and we're going to develop them.
All right, the last thing that we're going to touch on is just going to be real quick. This is the last time we're ever going to talk about it. Caleb Williams is officially at USC after all the BS, after all the Wisconsin, after all the Georgia, after all the other schools interested. He goes where everybody thought he was going to go. And his hype video showed him in a video with Mario Williams. This thing was decided long ago. I don't know what the deal was, why it took so long, but congrats to Caleb. Hope you do well. I think he's a good kid. I hope he never wins another game, but I hope he has a good career, and I hope he gets drafted in the NFL because I think he deserves it. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm done now.
Lots of pretty feet in California.
A dagger on the way out.
I like it. That's a good way to end his time in Norman. All right, we're moving on to everybody's favorite segment besides Pat's hot take.
Yep.
It's Ryan's must watch of the week. Ryan, how we feeling after we're three episodes in? Do you feel like you're 2 for 3, or do you feel like you're 1 for 3?
Dude, I feel like I'm 3 for 3. This is garbage that we're still bringing this up.
I think 2 for 3 is fair.
No.
Yeah, I think you're 2 for 3.
I just would like everyone, this is on the record, that the one that they say I don't get credit for, none of them have seen. So,
okay. You're right. You're right. You're right. I am excited for this one, though. I will say I am excited for this one. I like how you went back to. So go ahead.
I'm going back to movies this time, guys. You know, we've done TV twice. I felt like I needed to get back to a movie. And, you know, I consider myself, and I think hopefully my co-hosts and my other program guys will consider me a man of culture, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what that means is you really have to appeal to your audience. And when I say that, I know we have some female listeners out there. There might be like 8 of them, and they're our girlfriends and our moms, but they're out there.
I did that math earlier.
They're
It's actually 9 because Gan has a mom, but not a girlfriend.
Oh, Matt is just taking stray shots. He's enjoying the Thunder and Mavs right now. He's having a good night.
It's not a shot. If there's a 10th or 11th girl listening, hit Matt up.
That's right.
We got one single program guy. People.
Okay.
It's Matt Gann.
All right.
So,
sorry.
Okay. All right. So with that in mind, we're going rom-com this week, guys. We're going rom-com, and we're going because it's me, I had to make it an indie rom-com that probably most people have not seen.
He's a quirky guy.
He's a quirky guy.
I try to remain quirky, guys. You know, one of my good qualities. So this movie is called What If? And it's a Canadian film. And so when it was released in Canada, it was actually called The F Word. But then when it was released elsewhere outside of Canada, they changed it to What If, because the F word could be misconstrued for a lot of things. And in this context, it means friends. So released in 2014, starring this great cast, guys. Daniel Radcliffe, everyone's favorite wizard. Zoe Kazan, Adam Driver, just, you know, a king. Mackenzie Davis, who I've already talked about at length on the first episode of Must Watch of the Week when we talked about Station 11. And then Ashley Park. You can find this.
Can I say Zoe Kazan, huge fan in The Big Sick. If you haven't seen The Big Sick, go see it. She's fantastic in it. So when I saw her in the trailer, I was sold because I love her. All right, good.
Yeah, she's really great in this role. And this movie reminds me a lot of The Big Sick. So Mason, that's a really good call out there. You can find this movie right now streaming on Amazon Prime Video, because, you know, we're all about accessibility on this pod. And I think some people have felt that maybe my choices haven't been as accessible. So I wanted to give the crew a very accessible one, you know, to watch. So we're going to talk about plot here. Like I said, Canadian film set in Toronto. This is, you know, typical rom-com style, right? Man meets woman at a party. Woman flirts with the man. Man finds out at the end of the night that the woman is in a relationship. So this is really about a story about if men and women can be friends without feelings getting in the way. And the spoiler alert here is that yes, feelings do get in the
I
way.
would have never
Didn't see that coming.
guessed.
Didn't see that coming at
Never
all.
guessed.
Yeah, didn't see that coming at all. So, like all my must watches, we're gonna start with the barrier to entry, and this one is a little different than the others. I would say that the major barrier to entry here for all of our male listeners is the marketing is going to steers it very heavily toward that it's like just a basic chick flick. You see the trailer and you're like, oh, okay, it's like a meet cute. Are they going to end up together? Are they not going to end up together? And while that is kind of the story, it's got a lot more character than that. And I think they take a very trivial formula and make it more interesting. So I would say that's probably a big barrier to entry for a lot of people because they're like, I don't really want to deal with that. I don't really want to watch that, but give this one a chance. I would also say this just a terrible title. Both of the titles are really, really bad. It just doesn't really make much sense when you see the movie and you're like, I don't really understand what this title means.
I'm glad you said it because I was confused when I watched the trailer. I was like, because when they like shook hands in the trailer and they're like, oh, okay, this is how you meet friends. I thought it was going to be some like sci-fi thing where they go into an alternate dimension and like he replays the night. I don't know.
To be clear, everyone, you want the What If on Amazon Prime, not the What If on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
very
that's
different.
That's right.
Very, very true. I looked this up because I was like, why did they name it like this? And they called it the F word in Canada because the F word, they were saying friends. So it's really about the story.
Canadians are too nice to think about the other one,
I was confused like the first 30 seconds of this segment because I didn't.
I was just ready for people to start dropping off
F-bombs.
F-bombs.
And then they renamed it What If on like, what if friends, like friendship turns into like love or something cheesy like that. And I'm like, both of these titles suck. You should have come up with a better title.
I get it. I get What If.
How do you get it, Pat? Have you seen this movie?
No. But based on the trailer, I get it. It's like, what if we weren't just friends? Or what if we were friends?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah. All right. Well,
Makes
I'm glad
sense.
the marketing worked on you, Pat. That's
Thank
good. All right. We're going to move
Target
to high
audience.
points. Yeah. Really, really targeted audience here with Patrick Hertzberger. High points here. Really all great performances from all the cast, but I especially want to shout out Adam Driver and Mackenzie Davis, who are just having so much fun in these roles. They're the supporting characters, and they're just really able. They're not taking on the story like Kazan and Radcliffe are. So they're just allowed to play a bit more with their characters and just have more fun. And I think especially Adam Driver is just incredible in this. And I know Patrick has a strong opinion on Adam Driver, but he's a king and I love him. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to Ashley Parks, who plays Zoe Kazan's sister in this. She's very good in this movie, but she also just released her directorial debut on HBO Max this past weekend. That's titled The Fallout, and it's about an aftermath of a school shooting. Very, very good movie, very good performances in that as well. So just wanted to give a shout out to that, and kind of as a side must watch of the week, go watch The Fallout on HBO Max. Some other good points here. This is a breezy 1 hour and 42 minutes. It is just like, it's great. It's
Big
great.
fan of that.
It's short.
Big fan of that.
But the next thing I have here is that it's a popcorn movie, and you don't really need to be like that invested in it. It's pretty easy to understand, and you can just kind of like throw it on, and it's a feel good movie. So it'll make you feel a little better, considering everything that's going on in the world right now. And then I just like need to shout out Adam Driver saying this is in the trailer also, but just a wonderful line reading that he like pulls out a plate of nachos out of the oven, throws it onto the counter, and says, I just had sex and I'm about to eat nachos. This is the greatest moment of my life.
I'm not gonna lie, when I turned on the trailer and that was the first thing you heard, I was hooked. I was like, all right, we're in.
It's great. And I wanted to I just wanted to, give a shout out to all the ladies out there, all the female listeners we got, I wanted to give you guys a movie that you could watch and one that you would hopefully enjoy. So, but all the guys too, give it a chance, watch it with your girlfriends, watch it with your moms, watch it with your significant others.
I might watch it alone. I'm fine with a nice rom-com every so often.
I was about to say, I'd like to push back on this thought that only the ladies can enjoy your rom-com. I'll throw 50 First Dates on and have myself a time.
Look, I'm pretty sure, guys, I watched this movie by myself. So, I mean, I'm saying all of these things, but, in reality, I probably watched this alone, sitting on my couch with my 2 dogs.
I have also actually seen this movie and would recommend it. It's a good movie. Ryan's right. It kind of just happens in front of you. You don't have to get super invested in it. It's on the screen and you enjoy your time. And I'd recommend it too.
And after the 3 heavy recommendations I have given you guys, when it comes to, end of the world pandemic, cannibalism, a little pedophilia, maybe sort of, I kind of wanted to give, a light recommendation this time and something that you guys can throw on tonight as you're listening to this and you got some time and you want to throw on an easy movie. Throw this on.
Boys, if you're to the program guys out there listening, if you're driving to work today and you're listening to us, this is what you're doing tonight for your lady.
Absolutely.
Some wine, a homemade dinner, and what if? I say that's clutch. I'm doing it tomorrow. That's right.
Do it.
All right. Thank you for that, Ryan. Great recommendation. I think you're going to be 3 for 4 after this one. I have a good feeling. Have a good feeling for you. All right. Patrick, before we get into your hot take, a little breaking news for those who are going to care. The USA just beat Honduras 3-0, the U.S. men's national team in World Cup qualifying. I don't really know where that puts them in the standings. Patrick, do you know?
Maybe tied with Canada for first or second because they lost to Canada this past weekend. Even though we played all of our best players and starters, it was a disaster.
That's pretty embarrassing. USA 3-0 over Honduras. So that's a win for them. It's time now for Patrick's hot take of the week. Patrick, take it away, my man.
Here we go, baby. All right, I'm putting on the bucket hat. Sorry, I forgot last week. If
boy.
Anyone was watching on YouTube last week, I accidentally forgot. But yeah, Pat's hot take bucket hat is on. And decided to talk about the Winter Olympics. They are coming up soon. So we thought it would be nice and relevant to discuss the Winter Olympics. So I'm going to talk about a Winter Olympic hot take that took place in 2002. To give you guys some background, there was a short track speed skating competitor who is an 8-time medalist at the Winter Olympics and is the most decorated American Olympian at the Winter Olympics and was inducted to the Winter Olympic U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame in 2019. You may know who I'm talking about if you follow the Winter Olympics heavily. That is Apollo Ono. My hot
was Apollo Anton Ono.
No.
Okay. I was asking. I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're good. Anyways, in the 2002 Winter Olympics, he technically finished second behind a South Korean named Kim Dong-sung, but they gave him the gold medal because it was said that Kim blocked Ono. So I gave the video link to the guys, and I personally feel like he should have never won this gold medal. That's my hot take. Guys, what do you think? Did he push him? Did he win?
So watching it, you see that he does kind of get cut off. I don't know the rules of speed skating, the ins and outs of it.
We're not total experts on the pod.
Yeah, but you see the guy. He's South Korean. Is that right?
Yeah, Kim.
Yeah, Kim. Okay, well he does widen out, and they claim that he took a sharper turn, correct? And that's what they're saying. That he cut Ono off, and you see Ono when they're making a turn, kind of put his hands up to show oh, I'm not pushing or whatever.
Right. So the skaters were really mad that he put his hands up because they were just skating. A lot of the skaters felt like they were tight and they were just skating. And then he passed him and didn't cut him off. A quote from an Italian after the race, this guy finished fourth. He said that it was an absurd call and that we should use a rifle on Ono. That is insane. And we do not condone that. But fun fact about that situation.
So Patrick, you're of the opinion that
he shouldn't have gotten gold.
So the gold is like stripped and he's silver?
I wouldn't strip him just because I'm an Astros fan and what happens and you move forward. Like if you win, you win. Okay, no matter what.
Stop it.
Shout out to Ryan Heil. Ryan Heil's got a smile listening to this right now. He's like, "You're darn right, Pat."
No, but I mean, I don't think he should have won. I think it was a soft call.
I actually agree with Patrick here. I think it was a soft call, and just let the skaters skate, right? We talk about football all the time. Let them play ball.
Also,
I have skate.
Also, Patrick, at the bottom of this thing in our rundown, folks at home, we have a rundown in front of us, so we know what to talk about. What
Jim
we plan on
Halpert
talking about
helps us with the rundown.
Yeah, we do it throughout the week. I said at the beginning of this, I asked if it was Apollo Anton Ono. Patrick looked at me like I'm crazy. At the bottom of this, he has Apollo Anton Ono.
He does.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you really do.
Really?
It says Apollo Ono.
No, it says Anton.
It's a middle
right
name.
there, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're two different people. I'm just saying that's part of his name. I've always heard
it's part of his name. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I didn't know his middle name.
So 2 things.
Yep.
Go, man.
2 things from me. I misunderstood the prompt and listened to way too much Yoko Ono in preparation for this. My Spotify algorithm is messed up moving forward.
Yeah.
Second thing, I think you're all crazy. This isn't like football. These things are razor sharp blades on the ice, and they make clear contact. If anyone falls down, hey, you're getting cut in half. You're getting cut in half like 5 times because all these people are right behind you with knives on their feet. Y'all go do it and then tell me that he shouldn't have been disqualified for that contact.
I mean, what's the
no one else made the contact.
What's the difference between that and like a car race? Like the Indy 500 or something like that. It's very similar to that. I mean, it's dangerous.
It's not, because there's bumping all over the place during a car race, and no one else in this video is cutting in front of anyone else.
Just so the listeners know, it's very tight. It's like very tight. That's why a lot of the
I was kind of shocked at how small
it wasn't a foul.
Track looked.
It's very small.
You see Ono make a cut in when he gets up into second place. You see him go from like 5th to 2nd. He cuts in on the inside and he speeds up. And then
does he run into people to do it?
Well, it's always like they're always kind of like touching each other, right? Because they're like this far apart.
Yeah.
And the listeners probably can't see. I'm holding up my hands very close to each other.
Yeah, they're very close.
They're extremely close to each other. And I think like in that kind of a sport, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And I'm sure they do. I mean, I don't think there's a rule that says you can't make like any contact. I think the rule that they called was, well, he intentionally like pushed him out of the way. And I don't think that's the case. So I'm with Pat here.
Thank you, Ryan.
That was Pat's hot take of the week.
Yeah, let's all watch some speed skating. And
anybody, the Winter Olympics starts on the 4th.
Yeah.
What are you Pat? Are you most excited for speed skating? What are you most excited for? Patrick's a big slopes guy.
Yeah, I am. Big slopes guy, big bobsled guy, big ski jumping guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
really everything the Germans are the best at. I'm that guy.
Right. That's right. I'm gonna hitch my wagon to hockey probably. That's what I'll pay most attention to.
I think there's drama with hockey. I don't know if
is there drama?
I don't know if we're sending pros.
Oh, because it's in Beijing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to get back with the listeners on that.
Okay.
I'm excited for snowboard halfpipe. You got some Chloe Kim action going on. Okay. Shaun White should be there.
Yeah, the Americans made a half pipe competition so they could get more gold medals. That was going to be my hot take.
Here we go.
That's not even a hot take.
Much controversy.
No, that's not even a hot take. Patrick is right. Listen to Ryan say half pipe as an Olympic event. These things started in ancient Greece, and we just threw skateboarding into it.
Hey, Pat, I have Thursday, February 10th, USA against People's Republic of China for their first game. So I guess the USA is playing.
Awesome.
So there might be drama. I'm not saying you're wrong. I am saying you're wrong about Apollo Anton Ono being his actual name. But yeah.
I thought we were past that.
No, we're not. I'm never going to let it go. Also, can you tell us real quick why'd you decide a bucket hat? Is there a reason?
Well, I just have this OU bucket hat, and I thought it could be a good fit for the whole hot take segment, like to put something on or do something cool.
Like block out the shade because it's
or the haters, really the haters.
Okay,
the haters.
You have a lot of them.
The haters are usually us.
We do. A lot of YouTube people coming at me for my Jackson Dart comments saying that he couldn't run the football. I don't know. Maybe he can. I didn't watch all of his highlights, but like, look, guys, I don't think he can. I was just so on top. I was just so for Dillon Gabriel. We didn't need Jackson Dart. We didn't get him. We don't need him.
That's right. Well, you got what you wanted.
You blacked out.
Oh, we didn't get him. So.
Yeah. You got what you wanted. Jackson Dart probably watched that video and was like, you know what? Fine. I'm not going.
The most ridiculous thing is after all of this, Patrick got exactly what he wanted.
I know, man. I'm proud of you, Patrick.
Thank you, guys.
All right, boys. With that, episode 4 is in the books. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, the Program Guyz Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Program Guyz with a Z, on Instagram at Program Guyz with a Z. We love hearing your comments, love hearing your interaction on social media. Be sure to give our buddy Luke Hetrick a follow. That's LH Sports TV on Twitter. He's a great follow, and he's a good friend. One more time, thank you to Luke Hetrick for being our first ever interview. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.